Hello, I'm Mantastic and Fantastic, and today I'm going to be talking about the various pad communities available and where you can click and learn from other mediums such as websites, YouTube channels, Twitch streams, or Facebook groups. Now, obviously having an opinion is great, but it is also beneficial to have different opinions because while I may have a certain vantage point, my view may be somewhat clouded or biased, and it is beneficial to at least have sometimes second opinions or at least engaging or immersing yourself in other communities. And the purpose of this video and corresponding article, which will be linked in the YouTube description down below, is to basically share and highlight notable community members in the Puzzle & Dragons world. So, first things first, I want to talk about Discord, because I never actually highlighted Discord servers before. And Discord is essentially a platform for gamers that is voice and text based. Now, this is a lot more powerful than a simple chat room because it allows you to obviously find partners for matchmaking. A lot of the Discord servers have in-depth guides built right into the app itself, and you can actually glean a lot of information or even just make friends because there are, like I said, chat channels. But I'm going to highlight at least a couple of the more noteworthy Discord servers. So first off is the Awoken Lube server, and anytime you see actually this new basically means the first time it's appeared on my list, because I've been doing this for the last, I don't know how many months, maybe a year at this point. But they haven't appeared on my list at this point. But the Awoken Lube, Lube has basically emerged as one of the most premier and or top tier farming leaders for the average player, mostly because he is relatively accessible, all his subs are farmable, and he just makes life very easy because it becomes puzzles and buttons. However, his main downfall is you need to actually have co-op partners, and the Awoken Lube server helps facilitate that matchmaking, as well as having walkthroughs and guides for all relevant dungeons. So even if you may not necessarily use the server to find partners, you could simply just look at their guides and just think, oh, my friend and I can easily clear this, let's try it. Next is the Puzzle & Dragons carry server, and the Puzzle & Dragons carry server is essentially a place where you can try and find people who are willing to carry you through content that is normally out of range. Obviously you have to have at least some parts for it to work. However, there are a lot of guides on that Discord server that highlight and help showcase 100% farmable teams that can be the carried side. So say Team A is the one that has all the nice stuff and you are Team B with just the weird farmables, you can work. And this is actually quite exciting because a lot of new players want to, say, acquire rare and powerful cards, but they're unable to do so on their own, and the carry server is one of your best options. But I just stress you should be nice because these people are doing this out of the goodness of their hearts. Next is the Puzzle & Dragons community server, and this is the largest Discord server for Puzzle & Dragons. They have over 13,000 unique users, and there are over 20 channels that you can that are dedicated to specific in-game content, and you are able to at least find partners for easy matchmaking for multiplayer and co-op. So there are, because of the sheer size of this server, there are a lot of different separate channels that at least are dedicated to, say, box help, discussions, as well as having a very well-trusted team that is somewhat readily available because you are basically able to gain access to advanced and veteran players' minds without really having to step out of the comfort of your chair, at least in my case. So I would honestly take a look at all three of these servers. I'm definitely a part of all of them just because they are useful to take a look at, even just to check their news because they do post the news, and so you don't have to necessarily go elsewhere, but you still should go elsewhere. So next is blogs. So I'm using WordPress, and I feel like WordPress is a powerful medium because it allows you to intelligently share your thoughts and opinions, and sometimes you just want to read more because I may not necessarily post content every single day. And the following three sources are all places I highly recommend you at least bookmark and take a look at. So new on this list is Glitched, whose name is horrible to spell, but they are a relatively new player in terms of the blogging aspect, but they've been playing Puzzle & Dragons for a very long time. And they're actually responsible for the vast majority of the carry guides on the Puzzle & Dragons carry Discord server. So their website is mainly focused around creating accessible carry methods, and that one person can bring all the nice luxury, and then the other side can bring more easily acquirable cards. And also they sometimes feature guides that showcase 100% farmable B-sides, so you can acquire very challenging spawns such as, say, the Gorilla Radar Dragons with a 100% farmable team. In addition to their guides, he also dabbles in basically like leader analysis, efficient farming guides, and they're definitely worth the read and bookmark. Next is Setsu, and Setsu has been contributing to the Puzzle & Dragons community for several years now, and his most popular series right now is his JP Aggregate tier list. Basically, it basically takes into consideration 3 different tier lists from major Japan websites and kind of averages them out so you gain a better understanding. Because sometimes with those tier lists, some things are rated too highly or low, but by looking at all 3 at the same time, you are able to gain a better average to judge how powerful a card is, at least from a leadership point of view, as well as an optimal team. In addition to that, he sometimes posts like Godfest helps, various collab reviews, and they also play the game at a very high level. They are ranked 900 plus and have been so for quite some time. So they understand how to min-max their stamina and magic stone usage, and their knowledge is somewhat invaluable. Unfortunately, he's somewhat of a hiatus in that he's taking a little break, step away from pad, a step away from blogging, but he does at least have a trio of very knowledgeable and skilled players publishing content from time to time. Those include the Cascading Wizard Tevi, Nez, and Pi. So there is at least some content being put out there from time to time, and he does try his best to keep his aggregate tier list updated at least every couple weeks. And finally, we come to Soranopad, and Soranopad is the most notable English blogger that plays on Japan's server. So that means you are able to somewhat see into the future because he will be writing about content that we don't have yet. So you could preview future challenge dungeons, future leaders, future collabs. So it is well worth a read every once in a while if you want to stay ahead of the curve. Unfortunately, they are also on break for the foreseeable future. Seems to be a bad trend. Now we transition into YouTube. So written guides are great, Discord servers are great, but sometimes you actually just need to watch someone play the game and hopefully narrate their thought process alongside of it. And that is why YouTube has become quite a popular medium for showcasing Puzzle & Dragons content, because it is, to a certain extent, a very visual-oriented game. And I'm just going to highlight the notable members of the YouTube community. So first off is Pad Ragnarok, and he is currently one of the largest active YouTubers for North America, and he tends to publish content on a very regular basis. So his videos tend to be aimed at helping players overcome challenging mechanics, as well as doing various box reviews or leader reviews for his viewers. In addition, he has also started to create a series called Screw the Meta, in which he showcases leaders who are less popular clearing challenging content. So with his diverse array of content being published, it's well worth a look at because there's bound to be at least something that piques your curiosity. Furthermore, he does try and stream via his Twitch account, and he does actually start dabbling a bit into blogging through his website. However, I tend to categorize people where they are best fitting in terms of their medium. So Pad Ragnarok is definitely much more of a YouTuber than a streamer or a blogger at this point in time. Next is Yuki, and Yuki could easily flip-flop between YouTube and Twitch, but Yuki is the second highest ranked player for North America in Puzzle & Dragons, and they truly understand what it means to be end game, because not only do you have to min-max your time as efficiently to climb that fast, but also utilizing your stamina most efficiently, as well as creating teams that require as little thought as possible to clear the maximum amount of content and yield the largest reward possible. So he does also obviously stream, like I mentioned, but on his YouTube channel he does, at least as of late, post interesting Arena 3 clears in which he brings a very less than conventional leader and builds a truly spectacular team to overcome what is arguably one of the hardest dungeons in the game. Next we come to Alphapad, and that name I probably said wrong, but they're another YouTuber who does at least showcase their clears through various content as well as rolling videos, as well as providing their thoughts and commentary on upcoming content such as Godfest or new releases. So again, it's always well worth to take a look at someone because they do have different opinions than anyone else listed thus far. And now we transition into very large YouTubers who have unfortunately become inactive due to either real-life circumstances or loss of interest in the game. So first off is Tyler Pad, and he was definitely one of the first Puzzle and Dragoners to document their pad life onto YouTube, and he has created a plethora of very helpful videos that include combo guides as well as walkthroughs through various dungeons, descends, and challenges. So it's very well taking a look, and even though his content is outdated in the sense that he hasn't published anything for quite some time, his comboing guides will probably remain relevant for the many years to come. In addition to Tyler Pad, for inactive YouTubers is Puzzle Boss, and again, like Tyler Pad, Puzzle Boss was a very large and very popular YouTuber who unfortunately stopped playing Pad, if I'm not mistaken. But again, they do showcase clearing, I guess, older content, but with high-end teams. That was at least endgame at the time. So again, it's well worth taking a look. He does have various guides as well. Maybe some of it's outdated, but again, they're very well polished, Tyler Pad and Puzzle Boss, so they're well worth taking a look at, even though they may not be publishing anything recently. And now we transition into streaming, most notably through Twitch. So while you can watch a pre-recorded broadcast over YouTube, being able to sometimes watch someone live is beneficial because A, you get to see how it actually plays out in real time and or in real life, because with YouTube, you can at least pick and choose your best run. You don't necessarily publish your fails. That's what I do sometimes because I sometimes mess up. I only publish the good ones for the most part. And being able to at least see someone live is different because you are able to actually ask questions. And for the most part, the Twitch streamers will at least give you a relevant response. So not only can you learn from them in real time, you can ask questions and gain feedback from the other viewers as well as the broadcaster themselves. So the first one I want to highlight is I Am Yurachu, and it's Yura as in Euro, but they're slightly different. But to quote Yura, they have a comfortable space to just hang out, meme, and talk with other people while watching me be bad at video games. She definitely's got the meme part and the bad part, perhaps, but by this she really means she's boosted, and she does have very entertaining gameplay along with a healthy dose of dank memes and good jokes. She does have a very amusing joke redeem in which she will tell you a very dad level joke and she laughs at herself. We're going to say we laugh with her, but she is definitely one of the most entertaining streamers out there, and I do at least encourage you to take a look at her because hopefully you will laugh or at least crack a smile. Next is Sweetly, and Sweetly has actually been streaming Puzzle & Dragons for quite a prolonged period of time, and they do actually have a very massive following, especially within the Mandarin community, because they stream in both English and Mandarin, so she does appeal to more players, and she is definitely one of the sweetest people around. Furthermore, they are not just a pretty face, they are actually very skilled and talented at the game, and they actually push endgame content regularly on their stream with a wide variety of leaders, so she is also well worth taking a look at. The only downside is she tends to stream quite late, at least from a PST perspective, mostly because she is perhaps a night owl. Next is Flandre, and Flandre was recently featured on the official Gunho stream, and they are renowned throughout the pad community as a vital role as a moderator through the Puzzle and Dragons forums, which I'll talk about later on. But with that very notable position, he has gained quite a following. He does play on the English server and Japan, so he does have knowledge at least in the future because we are a couple months behind. So again, he's also well worth taking a look at, and he is very skilled because he does love to play Anubis. Next is Hanzo Pad, and Hanzo is another popular streamer who did at least make the transition to Twitch from Camcord. Camcord tried, I feel like it just flopped. Twitch is just bigger and better, but they do have a wonderful music playlist, and Hanzo does try his best to play with viewers through co-op. So if you're looking to play with someone that streams in live time, Hanzo's a great place to find partners, as well as talk, chat, and hang out. Furthermore, they do promise to do a sexy Hanzo cosplay one day, possibly with more viewers, so give them a like and follow. And last but definitely not least is Dizzy Dizzy Dino. So Dizzy Dizzy Dino is the largest Puzzle & Dragons streamer, I'd say. He has been partnered for quite some period of time, and they have a very extensive broadcasting schedule, which helps ensure you're at least able to catch him one night of the week. Furthermore, they obviously play pad at a very high level. They showcase very interesting clears, especially in arena. He does have a certain soft spot for Fenrir. Why? I don't know, but he likes that jammer meta. Furthermore, he does have informative gameplay and being entertaining while engaging his viewers, because he does read chat, he does respond, you can pick his brains, and he will have an answer. Furthermore, he has some of the most fabulous hair in the community, and I don't know what shampoo he uses. Now we transition into Facebook. And Facebook does have numerous groups that do help improve your pad experience, because it's basically an online community that at least offers you help and assistance through a slightly different medium. So again, I always put the new people on the list at the top just to kind of highlight them and hopefully to redirect traffic to them. So the first new member to make this list is Operation Annihilation. So this is definitely one of the newer Puzzle & Dragons Facebook groups, and their goal is to basically target endgame players who want to push Arena Plus content. So the community may be smaller, but that helps at least achieve more of a family feeling, because there are, I think, about 300 or so at the time of this video, and they want to try and gain newer veteran players who want to at least find co-op partners or at least discuss more endgame content. So it is definitely well worth a look if you're looking for arena or higher than arena level partners. Next is Pad Advice and Assistance, so their tag is AA. So Advice and Assistance is another Facebook group that is very dedicated to providing a friendly atmosphere for everything that is Puzzle & Dragons related. So obviously you can ask for advice and assistance, as the name implies, but you can always discuss like the current meta changes, they have dungeon strategies, and they do at least talk about the newer cards that are released. So again, it's a nice, warm, and friendly, welcoming community that I feel that more people should be a part of. Next is Pad Global, so at PG, and PG is definitely the largest Facebook group for Puzzle & Dragons, and because of that sheer size, they have attracted members of all walks of life in terms of pad, because they have the highest ranking players obviously lurking around. They also have new players, so you will be able to at least find experience ranging from beginners to the elite veterans. So while it may not feel necessarily like as homely as the smaller groups, you are able to at least post and most likely get a response, because there are over 20,000 members in that Facebook group. So it's well worth taking a look, and Paulo does do a lot of translations and helps post new things that come out in Japan quite quickly on the Facebook page. Next is Help Group, and obviously, as the name implies, Help Group is here to help you, because they are, again, friendly and patient, and they just want to help players advance through the game at their own pace. They're not trying to push people to pursue endgame content right away. They want to obviously have people enjoy themselves, and it's a friendly and helpful environment, and their tag is at HG. And next we come to the English USA Players Group, so it's at USA, and at USA is the second largest and second oldest Puzzle & Dragons Facebook group around, and they are obviously dedicated to helping the Puzzle & Dragons community. The members are knowledgeable and do hail from all different skill levels, so they can at least help answer your questions and concerns. Do note, you do not have to be American to join their server. And then last but not least, we have the official Gung Ho Facebook page, and it's more so a page that you like just to keep abreast with the current news, because anything that they post is obviously official and means that it is going to come to North America. So you might as well give them a like, because it shows your support for them as well as keeping you up to date with the latest pad happenings. Next we come to databases, and databases are basically somewhat of the unspoken MVPs in the pad world, because if these did not exist, it'd be very challenging to actually play the game, because there is so much content and detail that you have to know and understand. And obviously to this day, I still research new content when it comes out because I have no idea what's going to happen, and these resources are invaluable for that reason. And most notably is Puzzle and Dragons X. So PadX is basically the database for Puzzle and Dragons. All the icons you see for the monsters in my website do link to PadX, and it will provide you detailed breakdown of monster evolutions as well as dungeon encounters and mechanics. So if you are ever going to be playing a new dungeon, you should look at PadX or Pad Guide first to avoid unwanted surprises. And Pad Guide functions like Puzzle and Dragon X, but it's a mobile app. So if you're, say, out and about or on the go, it might be convenient to use Pad Guide. Both Pad X and Pad Guide provide the same information, and it basically just comes down to personal preference on which one you want to use, because some people got used to reading one versus the other. And for myself, I like Pad X for the dungeon encounters, but I like Pad Guide more for the monsters. So I basically use the two in conjunction, and I'm very happy with both of them. Next, we come to Pad Herder, and Pad Herder is basically a tool that you can use to upload your monster box in an intelligent manner that allows for convenient sorting as well as progression tracking. So for instance, say you wanted to have someone kind of review or take a look at your monster box, a convenient method to do so is use Pad Herder. You can upload all your monsters online and people can take a look and make suggestions accordingly. However, it can be somewhat tedious to upload them online, so there's a bit of an extension called Pad Listener, and Pad Listener helps you sync your Puzzle and Dragons account to Pad Herder. But I believe there are some restrictions. I don't use them myself, but I know there are a little bit of restrictions somewhere with Pad Listener and Pad Herder. Now we come to the forums. So forums are another great place to learn information. They are basically a giant website full of information, and I'm going to be basically highlighting the same forum groups that I had from before. So there's Puzzle and Dragons Reddit, so the /r tag that you might see people have in their names. So the Puzzle and Dragon Reddit has over 20,000 members, and it's basically a fantastic discussion platform because it naturally has the most veteran as well as beginner players involved. So you can find interesting content to read. There is very long discussion and comment threads. So basically if there is, like, say, a post about discussions or team building or new content overview, there is a lot of commentary. And sometimes, in all honesty, the comment section is just as valuable as the content itself. And that's one thing I like about the subreddit for Puzzle and Dragons. Furthermore, they do have a Discord server as well that I didn't mention just because they're under forums, but it's worth taking a look if you want to try and find partners there. Next is Puzzle and Dragon forums, and like the subreddit, it does feature guides, team building help threads, new meta discussions, news, and basically anything you can imagine that's related to Puzzle and Dragons. The main difference is the formatting. Some people prefer the Reddit format, some people prefer the Puzzle forums format. Basically, you should just use whatever you feel most comfortable reading and or commenting on. And then I guess there is such a thing, but 4chan does have a Puzzle and Dragons community. It is much smaller by comparison, and their tag is @VG. Just be aware that they may have some content that may not be suitable for younger audiences, so be aware. And then lastly, we come to Japan content, and I basically just gave you a couple websites. I can't read Japanese. Google Translate sometimes scares me because awoken Bastet becomes aroused Bastet. But regardless, Game8, App Media, and Ultima have tier lists. They have team building reviews. They have card reviews. They basically have news. If you can read Japanese or you can trust Google Translate, they're well worth taking a look at. So give me your input in conclusion. Like, who do you think, or basically where do you frequent on a daily basis? Like, who do you like to check out? Like, what community contributors do you find helpful and informative? Let me know in the comments below, as well as if I missed anyone you feel should be on this list. Hopefully you all have a mantastic day, and happy puzzling!